105k BTC after quite an interesting FOMC. The market at one point looked like it wanted to absolutely fall over, but Joe Powell came in there and saved the day for us. So today, do we have a pump loading? I've got a couple of things that are teeing us up for some altcoin, maybe some pumps, and I've also got you guys covered on a couple of head short plays, and I've got a guest for you guys. So we got so much to talk about here. Let's get right into it. Guys, and remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe there. Look who's here, the man. I've pulled him out of hackers. He's got a long, he's got a short, he's got all sorts of shit going down for us. And there, Mr. Tinfoil is here as well. He's bringing us some info on _Jelly. Now, that is something we need to talk about. He's going to tell you, he's done some digging on that thing. So we got you covered if you're a jelly person. We'll take a look at this thing. Now, okay. This is the hourly on Banter Bubbles. Now, these are the big performers that we're watching here at the moment. So after you get a little bit pullback or whatever goes on, you can always jump into the hourly on Banter Bubbles to get a nice picture as to what is popping off first. So you can see Fartcoin is dominating again. Let's take a look on the daily. Nice and green. Look at that Fartcoin, 35% at the moment. Hype, 19%. That's Hyperliquid. Litecoin, there's a little bit of news on Litecoin that I picked up earlier today. Injective, look, all round, I would say, to be fair, you know, we were leaning long. Okay, we were calling a dump into the FOMC often results in some kind of pumpage. What did we see? These alts held some levels. Some of them made us squeaky bum time. Render, for example, nearly shat the bed, but we got the move out of those things. So I would say overall, we pretty much nailed it. Or am I correct in saying we nailed the pump into the FOMC and a dump, or are we being too presumptuous?
No, I think you got it perfectly. Yeah. And that's generally what happens, right? Pump in means dump out.
Correct. Okay, correct. So guys, remember this for next time. Okay, if we pumping into FOMC, we sell the shit out of it. If we dumping into FOMC, we look for buys. It's a reliable way to go about things. And I see Mark's in the chats. He says we're farting again. Okay, so before we get too excited, there's a couple of things at play here. Yes, we might have a pump loading, but remember, the leverage is loading up now. Everybody loved the dovish speech yesterday. The leverage is loading up. Let's not think we can't get a wick here to come and wreck everybody's spirits. So I'm going to tee you up with some head shorts. Obviously, we've got longs going on as well, and I want you guys to be covered, and I want you guys to be well balanced. Mayonnaise, correct. Is there another phrase for when it falls over like that? I don't know if there is a better phrase than that. Okay, let's go straight into BTC. This is BTC on the 2-hour chart that we are now looking at today. So beautiful moves after that FOMC. It was filthy. It was absolutely filthy yesterday. But very interestingly, look at this. It held the VWAP on the lows there and gave us a nice springboard to work with. So now, if you take a look at the trend as a whole, you can see we have broken the trend. So that is typically, you know, a first start. If we are looking for extra bullish plays, well, we've now broken a trend on BTC. And generally, when you break a trend on BTC, that often tells you that you are now looking at alts trying to break their trends or their horizontal resistances. So we move from trying to buy alts in the basket, in the dips. We move from getting those banger entries at the hot zones. Now we start moving into breakout country. So these are the secondary and third type of trades that we start looking at now. So here we go. We've had a trend break out of BTC. What is next? Okay, so first things I want to point out, there is some divergence forming here. You can see we've got a reversal on the 2-hour on my oscillator. Now I want to show you something that's been bothering me all day. And that is this bearish divergence that is printing out on the 1-hour oscillator here at the moment. You can see the oscillator was trending down and the price was trending up. Okay, so that is not normally something you get too excited about. And that tells you, you know, that you might get some kind of downside. So with that information at hand, you know, we need to be measured. We'd have a beautiful pump. We were in a lot of longs. Things are flying. That's very nice. But what do we do? How do we balance ourselves in case things start rolling over? So with that in mind, we want to look for some kind of bullish pullback if it does roll over. Now, obviously today, this thing can rip and we could be totally wrong. But using the information that we have at hand, if we do get some kind of bullish pullback, the first big zone that I want you to pay attention to. 104,300. You can see that ties in with my horizontals. That ties in with my super bullish 236 fib as well. So 104,300. So if we do start melting down, that is a zone where you start looking at your alts, maybe on supports. You start looking at BTC saying, okay, maybe we're going to get some kind of bounce there. Then if we get a little bit more weakness, this is the obvious zone for me. Look at this beautiful set of horizontals here on our 382. So that is 103. And I don't want to go much lower than that. So that is going to be my bullish plan. If we're going to remain biased bullish, I don't really want to lose 103K. If we start closing under that zone, then we know the story. Okay, the alts are going to get hurt and we're going to start the drama all over again. Okay, so that is your BTC plan to the downside. What do we do to the upside? So we've already taken out our 618. Now, this is where I wanted to trigger that first short that I was in earlier today. I dropped that in Hackers. So I'm sitting in a BTC short from this region here, the 105,270. Now we have subsequently just popped through that. That might have been just a stop hunt or something along those lines. Oh, God, what have I done here? What have I done? Okay, so in terms of upside, where are we looking for rejections? First zone, 107, 107,200, 108,400. Those are the zones to the upside that you are going to look for your next rejection zone on BTC. So that is the full menu. That is how you guys are covered. This is me scalping at the moment on Prime XBT, and I've added to my BTC short after that pump and just using the information that I have in front of me. Okay, so you can see I'm sitting in a $42,000 Bitcoin short here, and I am long ETH from earlier today, and that is from all the Trump action, all the Trump buying, all the things going on. And remember, I see Hassan says, Lords with the deep V-neck, just like the pump. Guys, let's not get invalidated though. Okay, let's not get invalidated with the information that we have in front of us. Let's play this thing smart. So the first thing I want to give you is Martin saying BTC leverage-driven pump. Okay, now when you see this on Twitter, a leverage-driven pump, that is not always the result you want, because you kind of want to see a spot-driven pump to make it feel more real, okay, to make it feel like a safer move. Now, at the moment, this is open interest ripping. This is everybody piling in because they've decided now Trump was so super, not Trump, Joe Powell was so super dovish yesterday, and now everyone's just piled into long. So it smells like we're going to get a flush out. We just got to hope that the bulls step in at the correct levels here on BTC, and that is going to give us some entries that I'm going to give you today on some of these altcoins. And Victor says the whole market is under fireworks. So let's talk about it. And I just wanted to cover some of Joe Powell's speech from last night. I just want to make sure I've got the right one.
Fuck your fucking audience.
No, it wasn't this one. No, it wasn't. Sorry, that was the wrong one. Hold on. Oh, that was the one I posted earlier today at the Lord of Entry. You could follow me there on X. That was the wrong speech. I wanted to get his comments here. When he was talking about crypto, he says Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell says banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers. Isn't that nice?
Bitcoin really is to look at with crypto. Really
Can you hear this?
Look at the banks, and you know we think it's banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks, and it's safe and sound. As a good number of our banks, right, that we regulate and supervise do that. The threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in.
So, I mean, last night I was streaming this live, FOMC, and I actually started talking about closing my Ondo short as he was saying that. And everyone in the chats was telling me to shut up. I mean, it was quite hilarious. But that is that's pretty cool that they're having the conversation and things like that are going down. So other than that, I mean, here's the summary for those of you that, the TLDR. And he said, we've made significant progress towards goals with regards to the economy. Inflation has moved much closer to the goal, remains somewhat elevated. He always says that. And then labor market is not a source of inflationary pressures. I think that was pretty good from him there, from a commentary's perspective. And he says the Fed does not need to be in a hurry to adjust policy. That's not the best because the guys were pushing him for more cuts. And then the Fed to continue meeting by meeting approach. Okay, so he obviously got the message from Uncle Donald, even though they're an absolute independent. He obviously got the message just to go a little bit easy. It's Uncle Donald's first couple of weeks. Yeah, doesn't want to get wrecked. Okay, he doesn't want to get dumped all his crypto action on day one. you know. And Adil says last night I was just there for the chats. I mean, the chats last night on that live stream was actually unreal what was going down there. Okay, so that is that. So all around things are looking a little bit better. And to say it's actually tied in with a lot of these altcoins that were printing reversals on 12-hour, 8-hour timeframes. And there really were signs there that at least we were going to get some kind of bounce out of them. And remember the golden rule. Now, this is just, they were just talking about dumping at the actual event. This is Follis here. He says dumping on the FOMC remains one of the most bullish lower time frame signals in crypto. Cool. But even better is dumping the day before, dumping on the day leading into it. I mean, how much pressure were we under on some of those altcoins? So it was beautiful that it played out, and just put that in the memory bank, guys. Again, when it's dumping into an event, look for entries. When it's pumping into an event, look for exits or shorts. Okay, always. That is going to work more often than not. Now here's Microsoft. There was earnings, Microsoft, Tesla, and what was our other one last night? Well, we're going to pull it out now. But here's Microsoft. Their earnings came out. They actually beat expectations, and they still got a little bit rinsed. So let's look at Microsoft and just see what is going on. Any stock traders out there looking at Microsoft at the moment, I think you're okay for a bounce anywhere between this current region, and you can see this trend and 786. So anywhere from the current zone, 411 down to about 400, I'd say you're okay on Microsoft if you're looking for a bounce there. So look for something like that. And obviously a bit of a sell-off now. And, if they pumped into earnings and they beat expectations and a sell-off occurs, that makes sense to me. So Microsoft 415 down to 410 looks like a bounce zone. Obviously, they can come and clean you out down to that side as well. But I would say watch that 400. I wouldn't stress too much until we start losing that 400 level. Then we've got Meta. Yes, that was the other one. So Meta actually also going pretty well, 21% revenue increase year on year. And they beat it by 1.4 billion. I mean, that sounds like quite a big number. Earnings per share, they beat as well by $1.26. I mean, that's pretty sizable. So these Meta guys are cooking. And you can see this pump out this wedge. So this would have been quite a bearish wedge that we were watching here. So most of us would have identified here at some point you start losing this wedge and you drop. So they've really come out and smashed their earnings, and the market has responded. The market has obviously loved this. This is Meta on the weekly. So what you need to watch for now as a Meta trader, the secret here is you can see on the weekly now the price is starting to push higher, and you just want to make sure that this oscillator starts pushing higher as well, because if we get a lower high here, that's probably going to be a sign for us that we are eventually going to roll over a touch on this Meta, and then we're going to get some entry. So I would be careful longing it now. Look, I mean, anything can happen on the US stock market, but in terms of chasing a pump like that, I would rather personally wait for something a little bit lower. You can see this 50-day MA acts as nice support for this thing as well. So, somewhere around 640 for now is probably the patient place where you can get some type of entry there if you are looking for something on Meta. Okay, so that is doing that. Then Tesla is obviously going to be very topical here with stocks. And remember, guys, I am bringing you stocks in the next coming weeks. We're going to start trading a couple of these stocks as well. We're bringing on a partner on board, and it's going to be quite fun. So, best you guys start brushing up your stock skills and getting ready, because we're going to start cooking on some of these things. So here is Tesla, and revenue 2% year on year. They missed. Okay, gross margin 16%, operating margin 6%, capex 21%. Let's see, free cash flow 2%. But basically, it looks like a bit of a miss here on Tesla. Let's see how the market responded to the results. So look, not too bad at the moment. You can see, let's actually take a look at the daily and take a look. Yeah, okay, so the daily opened strong, but you can see they are a little bit red here at the moment. They are trying to buy this one back. So let's look on the weekly here on Tesla. You can see 50-day MA is coming into play. But if I have to be, if I have to look at a couple of areas here that make sense to me, it's got to be this 355. Now we can see we do have a pivot level here. You can see it's sitting on this 384 at the moment. So you can use that as support, but I wouldn't rush into this one just yet. In terms of banging entry zones, something like that for me around 350 kind of makes sense. Even a bit lower, 313 makes sense to me, because ultimately after these types of rejections, same as the shit coins, you just want to look for these flags or this consolidation and then maybe a continuation later. Okay, so that is that. Now, I mean, obviously, we should be talking about all these altcoins after all this pumpage, but it was important to take a look at this. And something we got to pay attention to as well, if we're going to get a crypto continuation, is the S&P 500. Now, you can see they try to close the gap today already. We've got a gap fill here at 6,088. So they've already tried to close that gap. It's going to be interesting today if they can actually just push it up and fill that gap before maybe some sell-off here. So something we're going to watch today. And Alex B, don't tell me PopCat is pumping, bro. I'm going to absolutely die if PopCat is pumping. James, is it pumping?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Oh my God. Because I'm not in PopCat. Okay. Okay, Davey, what's going on?
Everything.
What do you got there, bro? Hey?
I've got everything.
Are we short yet? What are we doing?
Man, I'm seeing a lot of shorts right now. I mean, there's some longs, but I would say be a little bit cautious on the longs.
Okay, guys, roll up the sleeves. Okay, we're bringing you some shorts here, and we're going to bring you some setups. We're going to bring some longs as well. Okay, so hang in there. It's coming. Dave, you can hang around or you can sit in the back. You tell me what you want to do. What do you want to do there? He's going to hang. Okay. Okay, let's go. So European Central Bank cuts interest rates. Okay, nice. This is always fun to play. I mean, we always like the little money printer. I mean, that's always a banger. So that's a good start. ECB cuts interest rates. So that is relatively bullish. This is less bullish. Okay, so Christine Lagarde, she says that she's confident that Bitcoin will not end up in the EU Central Bank reserves. I mean, that's not cool. Let's get the sound up here. Let's see what she has to say.
Matter that you referred to, and whether reserves of central bank should or could include bitcoins. I think there's a view around the table of the governing council, and most likely the general council as well, that reserves have to be liquid, that reserves have to be secure, that they have to be safe, that they should not be plagued by the suspicion of money laundering or other criminal activities. And as a result, I'm confident that reserves will not enter, that bitcoins will not enter.
So the first problem here is that she doesn't understand cryptos because she calls it bitcoins. Okay, that's actually the main issue here. Okay, so yeah, I mean, and there's a couple of statements there that sound like pretty much old money there. You know, the old TradFi stuff. You know what I mean? They're not getting it just yet. But we won't harp on this thing. Okay, you know what? When she's gone, the next guy's going to put. They're going to put.
Yeah, Granny called me here last night and asked how much is one crypto. She has no idea what she's talking about.
Exactly. How much are these cryptos? Okay. How much are these cryptos that we've got? Okay, guys, let's get into some juicy things now. Okay, so BTC, you covered. You know what we're doing there. BTC on the daily, cool. Trend break. You can see it. Okay, little mini trend break there. That's fine. But you know, if you really take into account horizontals, which are going to be the most important things that you need to be watching anyway. 108, 109. Got to get through that. Absolute war zone up there. Once you pop that, 114. But somebody's going to buy the top. Somebody's going to buy the top of Bitcoin at 114, 108. And then they're going to feel that pain. There's going to be a rejection. And then look, we might come back later, obviously. But at some point, 108, 109 or 114 is going to be the top. Who's going to buy it? And maybe we'll long the top. If we're getting super bullish there at some point, we'll long the top. Okay, this is something you want to see reject. Now, I was talking about this one yesterday. I've been talking about this dominance chart for, guys, 2-3 weeks, saying this was the target where we get an alt rally. Now, here we are. Just saying, okay? We finally hit our target. We are now reversing on dominance. Long may this continue, and this is what we've been waiting for. We wanted to see this daily start reversing, so we're not out of the woods just yet. We've got to get this daily rolling over. Let's just see on the 12th hour what they are giving us here. That is nice. You see, a little bit of divergence, a little bit of a sell-off there on the oscillator. So far, dominance is starting to look better. As long as dominance is falling over, we are good. If you are trading altcoins, keep your eyes on dominance. Watch key levels. Watch this one, 59%. Watch 58.5%. Watch 58%. These are all strong possible bounce zones for you where your alts can get wrecked. Okay, so just look out at those types of levels. Okay, let's go. USDT dominance. Now, this is also a banger. Now, remember, we want USDT dominance to go down. The further it goes down, the better it is for the market. So here's that on the 8 hour. This thing is pressing lower. This could be getting interesting. So if we flip this over, there could be something brewing here. Let's just invert this thing quickly. There we go. Okay, so this could be something fun. I mean, this is now extreme bull talk here. But if we get something like that, that's going to be quite pleasant for us and the rest of the market. I would say the market as a whole. So that is really what we want to be looking for. But as long as we are under this 50-day moving average, you can see that that's been a big one. We can remain a little bit more bullish on the market as a whole. So as long as USDT dominance pushing down, then we are good. Total 3, guys, I'm really giving you the whole hog here on analyzing these shit coins. But look at this. Okay, super bullish there. That is bullish divergence, a reversal print. We've got a trend break. We've got a retest. So what is your next step? If you look at Bitcoin on the daily, look at that. We've broken that daily trend, and we know that we've been a bit of a lagger here on total 3, but our next play is going to be a trend break on total 3. So when we get that, then we start flying again on these altcoins. Don't go to sleep on your open long. Steve is feeling bearish, bro. I must say, you just got to have your backup plan. Okay, you've got to have your backup plan. And you guys have seen now, you've watched long enough in these market conditions. We can't just be perma long or perma short, but it makes sense to have these hedge plays just in case the shit hits the fan. Okay, and we're going to cover you guys today. Dave Digital, do I see DJ Dave, aka David sends it. Well, he's giving you the full announcement there. Yes, you are correct. That is the man you are seeing. Now, ETH BTC on the weekly. Look at this. Big support bounce. This is good stuff for us. We know Trump and his bros and his boys, they buying tons of ETH. Okay, do they know something the rest of the market doesn't know? Well, here we are finally on a major support level here for ETH versus BTC. This is the bounce zone we wanted to see, and we are finally there. So it was a two-pronged approach. We bounced off the trend, and now we drop back down, and now we are in the possible bounce zone again. So that is looking good for us from that perspective here. And you can see we're getting our reversal print on the weekly. So that is quite substantial to get a weekly reversal print. And, that could potentially result in 10 or 20% even more to the upside on ETH versus BTC. So that is something interesting for us to pay attention to. So I've given you all the positive things at the moment that you can see. So right now you can see the total 3 looks good. Dominance looks good. USDT dominance looks good as well. ETH versus BTC looks good. But how do we play this on the short term? Okay, I trust Dylan with charts more than Trump with buying. Okay, well, look, Trump's buying ETH, guys. I mean, they must have a plan. Okay, so here we go. Here's ETH, and ETH is now in our descending wedge. We know that these wedges end up being bullish at some point, but some point, they need to play out in full. So these wedges can obviously break out at any time, for example, here, or alternatively, they send us back to hell, and then we break out down there. So that is why I've been saying for the last couple of weeks here, there's basically 2 or 3 levels that you need to worry about on ETH. Anything else in between is absolute noise. So level 1, 3,000, hold that, you should be okay. Level 2, 2,800 to 2,700, that is going to be your next safety net. And then level 3, the big one for me, is 3,500. If we can get through 3,500, that is a massive zone for us there. Then we are on track. And then I think we go to 4,000. We go above 4,000 on ETH. So let's baby steps. Let's get through the wedge. Right now, we are sitting in a situation here where ETH could just easily reject and send us back down. And that is why we want you covered with a couple of short plays as well as these longs that we are going to give you. Okay, so Mr. Invalidated, let's fucking rip already. Bro, do you like my shirt? Mr. Invalidated, hey? Do you like that?
Dude, I love it, man. We need the merch, man.
Oh, it's here. It's here. It's made.
It's here.
It's made. Wait, look here.
Dude, you must send it to the USA.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. This was my, I finally found the right one. So guys, I mean, there's going to be giveaways on the shows. There's going to be giveaways in hackers. You guys we're going to get this shit. Okay. And, okay, let's go. Let's get out some more charts. So ETH, look, you can see I'm in an ETH long. Look at Bitcoin short falling over. That's fine. As long as dominance is dropping, we good. Okay, we good. That's fine. Okay, let's go ETH. Okay, so ETH we've covered. You know what to do now. The breakout really confirms some action for me on ETH. That's where we're going to start adding. Okay, so right now it's a temporary play. Here's your first setup. Okay, from me for longs. Now, this is Uniswap. I brought this to you yesterday. There was some news on Uniswap version 4. This could be an ETH play on ETH strength. Remember, if ETH is going to break that wedge, you want to make sure you are trading absolute ETH bangers. Lido, Arbitrum, Optimism, ENA, ENS. Dave, what else we got? What are the other bangers?
Your Ethereum Classic.
Ethereum Classic. Fuck me, I always forget about that one. And then Uniswap, okay? And Nelson, it's coming, bro. You're not going to buy it. I'm going to give it to you guys, okay? We're going to have fun with this merch, bro. We're going to have fun. Okay, so one of the ones I want to give you, obviously, it's a little bit old school Uniswap, okay? But it's a potential mover on ETH. Now, the first thing I want you guys to notice on the 1 hour, that's pretty bearish on that oscillator. Look at this, super bearish here. And hello, Water Whisperer. Welcome. Okay. So 1 hour, looking a little bit bearish. We want this thing to reset. So the message I sent out to the hackers crew earlier today was, we need this divergence to play out. How does the divergence play out? It either plays out with a big pop and rejection at that VWAP, and then we get our entries at 12 or 12.1, or alternatively, it starts playing out slowly like this, and then all of a sudden, you get a little cascading liquidation cluster, and they just come and go, boop, and they take you out, and then you get your bounce. Bullish on my cleavage, bro. I concur. Okay, lots of bench pressing going on lately, especially when the market's pumping. We got to pump the chest. Okay, so 11.4, guys. This is your entry. 11.4. If we melt down, I've got a VWAP on the lows. I've got a wick. I've got horizontals. I've got a 382. Okay, 11.4, that is going to be your entry, 11.4243. So that is your golden hot zone entry. Otherwise, you are playing a breakout and you are chasing the breakout of the horizontals. Or if you're super patient, you're going to wait for that rejection and let it come back to you at 12.15. Now, remember, all of these charts go straight into hackers after the show. So if you want access to these charts, they are there for you, or obviously watch the show, okay? But they're going to be in hackers for you in a couple of seconds. And Zevi, guys, I'm going to cover you, Oaks, all of you, okay? Guys and girls, you're all going to be covered here. Okay, so that is Uni and upside targets for you. Target number 1, 12.7. Target number 2, 13.3. Target number 3, 13.9. So those are your long options there for you on Uniswap. Now, let's go SOL quickly, because there's a slightly degen SOL long here, but if you have patience, you can actually leave quite a big stop. So I wanted to show you Solana as well as a potential long play. So SOL has surged to dominate nearly half of the DEX market, largely driven by the meme coin launchpad Pump.Fun. Okay, and now you would have seen Pump.Fun has got jelly going on as well today that we're going to cover in a couple of secs. And first things first. So here is Solana on the 8 hour. Now, this is a tough one for me to actually dish out, especially in light of the fact that there's bearish divergence on BTC. But we are now solely relying on the fact that this dominance is going to dump and BTC is going to hold some super bullish levels. If that happens, then SOL is golden. SOL is a banger for you guys. So here is SOL on the 8 hour. Now, this is what I'm looking at. You can see our 8 hour oscillator has started turning higher. Now, that tells us that, yes, on the 8 hour, we are looking a little bit more bullish, but that doesn't tell you ape in your whole bag on 20x, 30x, and you're not going to get rinsed. Okay, so there's a couple of stop options that you need to consider when you see this type of setup. So the most absolute degen option I can give you guys, and remember, if I'm giving you a degen stop, it's a degen stop, but the safest one I can give you is a candle close under 2.5. Okay, that's an 8 hour candle close, sorry, under 237. So an 8 hour candle close under 237 might not look great. Okay, then we're going to start really pushing down. Then your next stop option is going to be a candle close under 232. That is your next option here. Let's just add these for you. So that's your first, that's your degen level. Okay, that's for the savages. These are for the calmer folks at 231, 232, and then the lows. Okay, that's for the people with tons of patience, 220. Okay, that is what you're going to be looking at. Those are your stop options. Now, this is in light of all those signs that I've given you: dominance dipping, total 3 breaking trend, USDT dominance dropping as well, and things overall good in the market. Okay, so that is what we're going to look. That is what we're going to look for there on SOL. Play it safe. Okay, really, just play it safe. Yeah, it's an 8 hour breakout. Let's see. Okay, if you have patience, you're going to probably let it do that for you. Okay, 232, something along those lines. That's still going to be an absolute banger. So don't go the full clip in this thing, okay, on an 8 hour chart and get yourself in a bit of a mess. Okay, let's go jelly. Now, I mean, I completely fucking missed this jelly. No, James, I mean, come on. How's this thing? Okay.
Heard this thing being talked about all of a sudden yesterday, and yeah, it turns out this token was just launched the 29th, right? It's gone insane, 250 mil it hit.
Jeez. Okay, give them the elevator pitch. What is this thing?
Well, it's a token brought out, the first investor in Venmo came out with this thing. And it's based on a new app that's come out, a new social app. And it's the Twitter co-founder, Biz Stone, who created the app. And it's kind of it feeds off of Twitter and off of Facebook, and it's kind of a question and answer type app. So you throw things on there, people respond, and lots of speculation whether it'll survive or whatever else. But I think this is based on the TikTok ban and everything else. People are coming up with options. It's like must buy and Vine. So it's just like the Vine 2, and everybody's screaming online between Vine and this thing back and forth.
No, I don't know why, but this looks like my buys, but I wish I bought this thing down there. At the bottom. I mean, that would actually be prime. Look at those buys there at the bottom. Jesus. Okay, so yeah, I've missed this thing. $150 million market cap sounds like a great product, but I mean, I can't buy this thing. Yeah, I mean, you have to let this thing settle. I don't know what the play is here with this thing, but it's gone to $150 million market cap. Now, I know there was tons of guys that were following the correct group using 𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟. Okay, and they have also been flashing P&L. Some of these guys made like 100x or something along those lines. So 𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟 is one of the ways that you can trade these shitcoins. You're going to join alpha groups on Telegram. You're going to link it directly to 𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟, and it's going to auto buy these things for you while you are sleeping. Okay, so if you were subscribed to the group that dropped in Jelly, your bot would have bought this thing automatically for you, and you would have woken up 200x. Okay, so it's quite smart the way it does this thing. And if you want some 𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗡𝗙, and hopefully Paula's going to put it in the chat for you. There it is. It's there. Okay, there it is. There's 𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟. It magically appeared. Okay, so if you want to trade shit coins with an edge, 𝗙𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟𝗟 is probably a way that you want to do things. Now, Dave, let's talk some rinsage in the market. Let's talk a mix of longs and shorts here. And look, the first one I've got going here, a hedge play, is this rune that we were talking about earlier. Did you drop it in Hackers?
I mentioned it in the chats, but I did post the other one. So yeah.
Okay. Are we sending it to zero?
We're sending rune to hell. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I dropped a message in Hackers saying when I was prepping for the show, I said, me and Dave were talking and we're looking for a couple of head shorts. So I'm glad you dropped that one in the chats. I dropped 𝗬𝗎 and I dropped Apto's short ideas. So I'm going to give you those short ideas, and then we're going to obviously sort you out with some long ideas, folks. Okay, so here is rune, and I mean, this thing's moving down quite quickly. It's quite pleasant. Okay, so that thing's going on. There's a 𝗬𝗎 head short. I'm showing you that chart. I'm going to explain it in detail for you as to what's going on there. And then Brett, well, you know, I mean, I'm a $12,000 bounce for me on that Brett position. I'm quite satisfied with that move at the moment. So it's still got the head short going there on Brett. And Fartcoin is doing things for me at the moment. Injective, that was an absolute banger. That's starting to pay some bills there. 𝗙𝗢𝗟 doing things. Render, I dropped that Render long in Chart Hackers today or this morning. We dropped Render in there. There's 𝗬𝗎 from yesterday. There's 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗡𝗏 that's doing its thing. I've got a head short running on 𝗬𝗢𝗟𝗏 now as well. It printed a lower high. I'm a little bit concerned about that one. 𝗦𝗥 doing things. WIF doing things. Lever, Dave, thanks for that Lever short. Still using that one. And then there's 𝗪𝗡𝗡 that's really fucking woken up today. What?
Nice.
What an absolute banger.
What happened?
Okay. So there's the full menu. Now I did drop an 𝗪𝗡𝗡 spot long trade this morning as well in Chart Hackers. So let's start with a few things. Okay, let's talk Render. In terms of Render now, if you are chasing, it's slightly trickier for you. Now, the best time to get Render would have been on that bounce that we were looking at last night on the lives. And now the next best chance would have been on that break and retest that you can see happened here earlier today. Now, what I suggest for anybody wanting to trade Render, you can see this thing's getting a little bit hot here at the moment. And what we need to do is tie in any pullbacks now with Render, with Bitcoin dipping or this divergence playing out, and then just being prepped in case that they do send this thing a little bit lower. So now this is a patience game unless you want to take on unnecessary risk. Now, this is obviously your call as a trader on how you want to play things, but the way I'm seeing it at the moment is we've had a nice move. Yes, these things can pop. Okay, they can go higher. This thing can bolt straight into that level in a matter of one candle. We understand that, but in terms of protecting your risk as a degen leverage trader, you need to understand where your proper bounce areas are or your zones are. So you're at 4% risk already if you're going long here reasonably. Now, obviously, you can keep it tighter, 2%, but it's not ideal because you stand the risk of getting stopped if this divergence starts playing out. So realistically, you want to give yourself a chance. You don't want to get stopped out 20 times trying to long into resistance and things like that. So here's a 4% risk. There's 6% risk to the bigger region that I've given the hackers guys from earlier today. So understand your risk if you are trying to take longs on any of these alts that are pumping into these zones. And your safest play naturally is going to be to wait for some kind of rejection. Now, that is super hard if you got FOMO. I get that. Okay, but we've got to read the signs that are here. So, for instance, we could get a rejection in that zone and we'll look for a pullback there. Or I would assume the next rejection zone is going to be at 6.3. So you're going to keep it as simple as possible if you're looking for entries. So let's assume it rejects at 6.08. Okay, in a perfect world, then your first entry is going to be 5.78. Now, if render just keeps pumping and it rejects at around about 6.36, then your most likely first entry is going to be at around 5.9, which is what you're going to look for. And you can see you'll have nice confluence there as well. Look at that. Nice little region there of horizontals that you can use as support. Okay, so if you're longing render now, okay, understand your danger, understand your risks, and understand where this thing could go. So, if you're using high leverage, you can get rinsed. You can get absolutely liquidated here on a little dip in the market. So trust, try and trust the process, look for that rejection. And anybody that is still in the render trade, if this thing keeps shooting higher, your target zones are 6.36 and 6.7. That's pretty much, where it's going to be TP there for me. And then one of these zones, you most likely get your reload, you get your next big trade. And we'll be talking about it on the show. Okay, if we get it, then we'll be looking for those longs. I'm covering Rune. I'm covering Rune for you guys in a sec. Okay, let's go hedge play. Now, again, guys, remember, this is a hedge play. So what does that mean? Basically, what I'm looking for here is we are net long. We saw Powell last night, very nice. We saw the market moving up. We're doing all those nice things, and we're making money again being long. But what happens if there is a reversal in the market? And what happens if there's panic and things start collapsing? Okay, how do you do that? You can protect yourself with a hedge short. So that means when the market's falling over, you are printing profits while it goes down. You can use those profits to buy more longs if you want to, or just to protect your trading account. So it's something I like to do. And I'm sure if you've watched me long enough, you've seen that I do quite a bit of that. And if I have to pick some hedge short zones, well, then I start looking at typical hot zones. So the first one of interest for me here is Aptos. This is a potential reversal play coming up for you guys. And this is, again, a hedge play. So you don't ape in a massive clip here. You can start laddering in on any strength, okay? And keeping an eye on Bitcoin, keeping an eye on dominance. And, if you get that dominance bounce, you're typically going to get the rejection on some of your alts as well. So zones of interest here on Aptos is going to be 8 to about 8.3. Now, just be careful of this VWAP. You can see that's a rejection zone for us, this VWAP. So I've highlighted this here for you. And if we close above that VWAP, I would say that short idea gets invalidated. That hedge short gets invalidated, and then your next zone is going to be typically around 8.9, those types of regions there. So it's either going to happen before 8.3, or this thing is going to carry on pumping, and you're going to get divergence eventually playing out like that. And then you're going to get your short at your next major resistance. So remember, divergence is price action moving higher, printing higher highs, and your oscillator printing lower highs. And that is going to signal when you hit that resistance zone, then you're going to say, okay, now it's starting to make sense that we can start laddering in to a position. So watch Aptos here. 8.3 is a big test. Okay, I would expect a fight at 8.3. That is going to be the best one. And obviously don't ape. Okay, slowly. You can see how I've done it here. Small positions here. Look at that. Let's see. Rune is 15K. Sui is 10K. Okay, and you can see the Brett is $130,000 long. Okay, So it's small hedging that's taking place, and we can always turn that into something bigger later on. Then in terms of SUI, same story. Now I'm going to let David come give us a few setups as well, but I just wanted to finish on SUI and just explain my thinking behind it. We've had a beautiful move from SUI, beautiful pump. Okay, is it time now to look for just some kind of reversal, just in case, to protect ourselves in case we get a pullback? Now you can see my 1 hour is starting to turn over a little bit. There is a little bit of divergence there on that guy. Okay, cool. And then you can see the price did push higher, so that created the divergence. And just like Bitcoin, we could have a similar situation. We could pop up and then start dropping. That is on the table, obviously, for us. So ideally, you want to look for a close above 4.25. So anything up to 4.25 could be a hedge short zone for you on SUI. And again, you don't have to send it to 0. You just kind of want to send it to, something like that, 3.88, somewhere around there, just a hedge play for you. If the market pumps harder, 4.45 to 4.54. Okay, that is going to be your next hedge play where you do get some kind of rejection. And Michael van Veen, he says it's going to go to the top. And yeah, look, those are the levels. So those are just the hedge short zones. Those are the ones I earmark, and those are the ones I look for. Typically, you're going to get a rejection at one of them. Look at these VWAPs. Look at the 50-day MA up here. We know that's a banger. Look at this order block from my chart prime indicators as well. We know that's a banger up there. Okay, we understand that. Okay, so that chart is going to be in Hackers for you as well. Captain,
yo,
all yours, boss.
All right. Let me know if you can see my screen.
I love the way Matty always has this info about unlocks. Matt, what a banger, bro. Okay,
yes.
Unlock in 36 hours. What a banger, bro.
Yeah, that actually might be a great short. But yeah, no. So I wanted to just talk about, I'm seeing more shorts right now than longs. I say it all the time, but when you see a lot of green, trying to catch a long, usually the risk to reward is not as appealing, but the risk to reward for shorts, it's appealing at the moment. So one that I've been just tracking, and I gave this setup before the show here, so we're a little bit ahead in the chart hackers, but is Spell. So Spell had this huge run up, right? Some news, I looked it up on Twitter, something's going on, and that's great, right? 155%. But there's always usually some kind of correction with Spell. Yes, right, Spell could essentially squeeze and break trend and go to the upside, but I'm leaning more towards a downside move. So one of the things that stands out to me with Spell is this 12-hour situation. So we've got two bearish divergences. We had a blue dot, but it kept pumping. When I see that, usually it's kind of a delayed reaction here. And so that to me was nice. And then I was dialing in on the lower time frames, and on the 1 hour, we've got a hidden bearish divergence that just printed a couple hours ago. So the other thing that's interesting too is if you go on the daily, chart prime is showing this daily point of control. So let's see if it's popping up here, or I guess it changed, but there was a point of control here on the daily, and it's here on the 12, right? So if we can't hold this point of control, we are coming down, period. I'm feeling that's probably what's going to happen here. We had an overbought confirmation signal on chart prime, and right now we're 2% into the trade. So I'm 9x leverage, 18% profits. But the situation here with Spell is that yes, there could be some more of a upside move here, but to me that's an adding opportunity, right? So yes, I'm 9x leverage, but if I see a pump here, I'm going to add some margin, maybe change it to like 6 or 7x. Pay attention. I'm going to dial in on the 5-minute, 15-minute chart, and I'm going to pay attention to this trend line. If we can't break it, to me, this is where I'm going to be adding even more to my size. That's where I'm probably going to start adding more leverage, cranking it up a bit, and then once it rolls over and gets away, I'm just going to be writing those profits. So the reason why I am very, I'm excited about this short is just because I think Bitcoin's at a resistance level. I think there is going to be somewhat of a pullback on Bitcoin, whether it's 1 or 2%, I don't know. But, Spell kind of derping around here, as I say, Bitcoin's up 1.5%. Spell is not doing anything. So to me, it's just bearish. I think we're getting a pullback. So again, if Bitcoin does dump 1%, I think that we're going to easily come down to TP1. So TP1's a 382. I've simply done a fib pull on the big move here, right? So on the absolute low here, I've got a fib. This was on the 23rd of January to the absolute high. So we got a 382 for TP1. So TP1 is essentially going to be 0.0016. TP2 is going to be right around the 618 or the hacker zone, kind of around this horizontal that you guys can see. So I would say 0.0013, and then TP3 would be essentially the round trip situation or the 786 50-day MA. And if this whole thing plays out, then we're looking at a nice 35% move. Very realistic in my opinion. So stop loss, yes, I would say the stop loss should be right above these highs, right? So you can see that there's some highs here, right? And so yes, that is kind of a gap. So use proper risk management. Again, that's why I say whenever it starts to pump, I'm going to be lowering my leverage to maybe 5 or 6x. So that way, these big swings to the upside or these stop hunts or these market maker wicks, I'm not going to be tripping about it, right? I'm going to just use that as an adding opportunity. But if you start to see a candle close or candle close above 0.0019, then essentially this is probably a break of trend, and we're probably going for another move to the upside. But for me personally, with these higher time frames in the 12-hour bearish divergences, I think this one's going to play out. So, and then we were talking about Rune. We were, kind of looking at a nice situation here. I mean, very simply, anchored VWAP. I mean, sometimes that's all you need is an anchored VWAP, but I've got a fixed range pull here. We've got a value area high at 243. You can see that Rune wicked right up into it, and it's already pulling back here. So we posted that in the chats. I know you're taking that short. I think like an hour ago was at 15%. Now it's at 11%. So already a 4% pullback. But I've got so many other shorts in mind here, and I'm going to be sharing that in the chart hacker session here in about 30 minutes.
Oh, I forgot, you live now, guys. If you want more of this, juice, okay, from this absolute legend, he's going live in Hackers in 30 minutes. Okay, so if you want to know more about Hackers, well, come and join us. Okay, let's show you where to do that. Let's go into the show description, go under the link there, and you can go into more, and you're going to see chart hackers. Okay, you can see chart hackers there. Click on the link, join the Discord. Okay, join us, come see what it's all about. You're going to be blown away with the amount of fucking trading alpha that you are going to get slapped with in there. I mean, the quality of the stuff going down in there is actually insane. Okay, so come and join us if you want some of that action. And obviously, there's a lot of education in there as well. So we're not just banging out signals there. We're explaining why things get done. We're doing live Zoom sessions. We're covering indicators. We got the Chart Prime team in there. It's an absolute banger. Okay, and Dave is the easy guy trader. Michael, I think that's a good thing. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about okay, so you've covered Rune. That was an absolute banger. Where's my Rune chart? Okay, so I just wanted to touch on Rune on the weekly for you guys as well. So we have tackled Rune on the weekly, and we have said previously that any pumps we can look to start selling. So this might have been a nice opportunity for us there. And you can see that weekly is pretty much bottomed out, but I might still give it a little bit more downside there. Then there's an explanation from 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And he's calling it the critical Rune situation. So I'm not going to bore you and read this for you, but you can go follow him. It says 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, okay, at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. You can follow him and you can read about the critical Rune situation that he is talking about. And could be some interesting reading there for you guys. And then in terms of that short David's shown you, again, this is what we look for. So just like I showed you on SUI and Aptos, this is your dream scenario. You want to see that divergence forming, especially on the 1 hour at a resistance zone. So this is actually, this is prime. Okay, you can see your 0.5, your horizontals, your order block, your VWAP at a resistance zone. You've got your divergence. Okay, so that is what you want to look for in some of these others. Look at this. You want to try and see that even on the 15 minutes if you can get it. On things like Aptos, if you can get it on SUI as well, that is what you're going to be hunting. That really gives you your sign that you can start looking at it. And it's the same. It's the same with longs. Okay, you're going to look for longs when you see those divergences to the downside. And Syed says he prefers He prefers chart hackers over Bitfunded. Is he saying he wants to be in chart hackers instead of the Bitfunded giveaway? I need to decipher this. And we got to decipher this one. Okay, guys, so we'll do another giveaway tomorrow. Okay, today's Thursday. I'm going to do another giveaway tomorrow for you guys. It's either going to be some Bitfunded action or something else. Let's get a couple more setups here for you guys. So Link is on the menu again, and I'm looking at Link on a 8-hour time frame here. And the big support for me now that we've got to close above is 23.5. So any Link traders here, 23.5 is your big zone. That is going to be your big level that you want to hold. This is your 50-day moving average. We've broken above. We want to hold that. So any medium-sized Bitcoin pullback should give you 23.5 on Link. It should give you a long. Okay, that looks nice. 8-hour turning up, turning green. Look at the cash flow also starting to turn up. So that's looking like a banger. You can see this RSI or the oscillators also breaking trend. So looking pretty nice at the moment. All you need to do, Link traders, 23.5. Make sure it's holding that. Could be a nice long for you up to 36. Okay, that's your potential upside. You want to hold 23.5. Worst case, and I'm talking a flush out, 22.18. Watch those levels when you are setting up your Link trade. 23.5, 22.1. Those are the levels to hold to the downside. The ultimate target is going to be 36, but in between that, 27 and 30 is where you are sending this thing. As long as you are closing above that 23.5, I'm pretty happy with where Link is going to be. Okay, well, we're cooking here. We're cooking. Let's talk Pepe. This is a big one, guys. If ETH blows, I'm telling you now, I'm warning you, okay? Make sure you are in Pepe, or at least you're trying to build some kind of Pepe position. This is us on the daily. Look at this thing, okay? Bottoming out nicely, getting our reversal print, and at some point we're going to see this cash flow start turning up, okay? Right now it's still putting pressure to the downside, but we're going to see this thing start turning up just now, and that is going to give us a little bit more action. And 𝗙𝗓𝗟𝗏 says, how do you join? Bro, you go into the show description, okay, and you go under there, under more, and you click on Get Chart Hackers, and that is where all the juice is going to be. Everything I talk about on my show is here, okay, under the show description for you guys, okay? So that is how you're going to do that. So let's go. So Pepe on the higher time frame. Now, this is the guys that are buying spot. They have a longer term view, and they are happy to see this thing potentially go higher. So you've got the information on the daily. You can see there's a reversal there on the daily. That looks nice. What does this mean? There could be a flush out. There could be lots happening here. But for now, you want to hold the lows. Okay, so the lows are 116. You want to hold that. Okay, that's the bigger picture stuff. Upside targets for me. Where does this thing go? 16. 1.8. Okay, those are reasonable targets here if that daily starts churning higher. What does it look like? It could easily look like this. Okay, so it could be a very interesting journey. So look out for that. And then lower time frame, here's your game plan. Okay, you need a hard break. This is the trade setup I dropped in hackers earlier today on a game plan for Pepe. Now, I said to them specifically, we want a hard break here. Okay, we're not getting that hard break. You can see we're rejecting off the VWAP. This is critical for us. This is our 200-day moving average. You see that? Okay, we want to blow this thing. We want to pop this thing hard. That is going to be your entry. Okay, so make sure you are doing this right. If you are trying to buy here, just nibble little bits. Okay, you can float around here. You can buy little bits here, and you can see if you start losing this rising trend, you're probably turning a bit bearish again. Okay, so game plan, nibble around in the zone. If you're looking for an entry, the hard pop and the retest is going to be the real buy zone for you, and that is going to be around about 132 to about 133 is what you're going to look at for the buy. But this blue line is your 200-day moving average. That is big resistance. We've got to clear that. We've got to clear it convincingly. You can see here on the daily chart, look at that. It's in the way, okay? But when we break that, it's going to be fun. Look what happened. Last time we broke it, okay, it was fun. If we break it this time, it might be fun again. Okay, so Pepe, that is your plan. And then upside 15, you're looking at 16, you're looking at 18. Those are your upside targets that you are going to play with. And support-wise, where can you put your stop losses? So 129, close under that, not good. 126, close under that, not good. So you decide on your risk, how you're playing it. And, those are the reasonable exit zones here. If you close under those areas, then you are potentially turning bearish. I'll make sure this chart is in hackers, okay, in a couple of minutes. Okay, one more for you guys. What is this? Oh, crypto guys, when choosing a meme coin. I just like this. Okay, this is a banger. Okay, it's a very difficult thing to do. Choose these meme coins.
I don't know what it is, but you have
That's
got
right.
it.
And that was it when I brought you guys this Goku fucking, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. Look at this thing. It's finally broken out here. And it's finally popped this guy. Look at the thing. Bang. Okay, so now we through to our next level. So here we got our levels here. We popped that one, retest. Now we popped this one. Maybe look for the retest. Okay, if you see this thing recover, every time there's weakness, look at these recoveries. Whenever there's weakness on this thing, look at that. Look at that. Okay, so buy the red. Okay, wait for the red, then you get involved. Okay, so look at your big levels there at the moment. This is Goku Sol. So this is Goku against Sol. So that is 2-8 and 2-1. Those are your main levels that you're going to be watching there. And look, nice pattern here. Red, buy, pump. Okay, back down, buy, pump. Okay, net up. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Okay, shall we leave it at that? Do you guys have enough alpha? Do you have enough longs? Do you have enough shorts? Are you covered enough till tomorrow? Do you think they're covered, right?
I think they're covered. I mean, drop some bangers for sure.
I think we're good. Okay, enjoy your session. Guys, you can find Dave in there. He's going to give you longs and shorts. He's going to explain how he does it. And you saw something else he was using there, volume profile. He'll tell you what it's all about. He'll tell you why he uses it. Okay, so remember, it's all about Dave. See you later. See you in there. Okay, it's all about confluence. It's all about having confidence to enter a position, whether it's long or short. And how do you build that confidence? Well, you got to have screen time. You got to learn how to trade, and you can spend time in hackers. But what you can also do is do my accelerator course. Okay, there it is. And my next masterclass is on Monday. I'm talking advanced leverage, but there's a group of videos in here that I've made specifically for you guys that makes all the shit that I talk on the screen, including all those lines that might seem complicated to you guys and those phrases. I've made it as simple as possible for you to understand so that you can be taking trades within 10 days. You will take a trade within under 10 days. I can guarantee you that. You're going to do this course here and you're going to see what I'm talking about. You're going to come to the advanced leverage masterclass that I'm doing on Monday. You're going to learn tips and tricks you didn't know that existed. Okay. And I'm going to blow you away. So go under the show description again. I remind you, there it is. Go under the show description, do Dylan's Trading Accelerator course. Okay. And if you want support, most of Hackers is filled up with guys that have done this course, okay, or have been watching my show for ages, okay, and they understand what is going on there. So beautiful support group there for you as well in Hackers. Okay, enough talking from me. James, thanks for hanging. We will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, and have an absolute banger, guys. Play safe. Don't get rinsed. Don't get invalidated. Okay, keep it safe. See you later.